This is the Civivi Rustic Gent, and since I've tried to shoot this video like 8 times at this point, and I don't know, maybe it's something in the water or in the Coca-Cola, but I keep fumbling it. So I am just going to start with like a million comparisons. The Rustic Gent comes to you from Civivi. Civivi comes to you from We. This model is the upscale model. It's got Damasteel blade, carbon fiber bolster, and burlap micarta, a material I am extremely fond of. Now, carbon fiber, not so much, and Damasteel, never really cared very much. And all three together, I would ordinarily say this looks like Mr. Furley in full getup, but somehow this really works for me. This busyness works for me. And this knife, everything about this knife works for me. I'm gonna start with some comparisons and not only get that out of the way, but get me talking a little bit better, because I'm finding myself tongue-tied today. So this is kind of a knife that straddles the traditional world and the modern world in terms of knives. So I'm going to show you some traditional knives that I'm going to compare it to, and then some modern knives. So first, we have the, what the hell is this one called? We have the Lion Steel, this recent slip joint, so beautiful. I am such a tool. I can't remember what it's called, and I don't want to stop shooting again. Okay, so that's that against the new Lion Steel awesome Navaja slip joint knife called the ... Here it is next to a 71 Bullbuster GEC with a nice beautiful micarta handle and about a 3-inch blade. These are all about 3-inch blades. Here it is with another GEC, the formidable and well-known 15, so it's a little bit bigger than the 15. Here it is with another slip joint, the also well-known and well-loved Case Trapper. So it's about the same size as all of these knives. And then there's the 800-pound gorilla in the room, or gorillas, which are, there it is with the 110. And they're the Civivi Rustic Gent in Damasteel carbon fiber bolster, and burlap micarta is next to the Buck 112. So about the same size in terms of length, but in everything else, way different. This is like a little bird with hollow bones compared to this, which is like an iron anchor holding a boat in place. Both beautiful, both appealing in their own qualities. Sometimes it's nice to have this in its leather pouch in all its brassy, wooden, steely, thick glory on your belt in a nice thick leather case. This one is so light and so nice and so gentlemanly that you might want to keep it in this kind of leather case that it comes with. It's got this awesome clip, which really stays nicely in your pocket. I was concerned that that this would just come out too easily, making this whole thing kind of cumbersome, but it is not. However, if this were mine, I would remove some of this leather here to make it easier to pinch out the knife. I will show that to you here. So it fits in here nicely and snugly like that, but when you go to pull it out, it's almost a little too snug. But I'm assuming once you have it, and once you have it for a while and you carry it, and this pocket starts to solidify, it will be easier and easier to pull that in and out. And by solidify, I just mean mold. This leather will mold to the knife and it'll just flop right out, or come right out easily. Anyway, so the Ranger goes away. All right, so now this knife, like the GECs, have that half stop. The half stop is really useful when you're closing it, just in case you're doing it in haste or what have you, and your hand happens to be there. You know it's going to stop right there. Whereas with the trapper, it's just a smooth close. So this thing, if you're not paying too much attention, you could overshoot it, and then the spring takes it, and you could get bitten there. So this knife recognizes that and borrows it from the slip joint world and has that half stop there, which is unlike the buck, which is just a smooth closing affair. So to have the half stop on a locking knife is kind of cool. I don't know right offhand if I know of any other knife that does that. If you know, let me know. I'd be interested to find that out. But one thing as a slip joint guy liker, not as a slip joint liker or a slip joint guy, I like that half stop when I'm actuating. That's part of the fun, you know. People like to do this or this for the action. Well, it's the same thing with slip joints. You like to have that snappy walk and talk. Well, you get the best of both worlds here. You get the locking blade and you get the walk and talk with this. And it's got this really cool pull. It's kind of like a fuller, kind of like an extended and straightened out nail neck. It's like a traditional pull from a machine ground GEC. I mean, that's beautiful. Ordinarily, I don't go in for that busy look, but man, that is gorgeous. What a cool material micarta is, especially when it's kind of textured like this with the thicker fabrics. Love that. Ergonomically, it feels great, you know, and you can really use it. I would assume, okay, I will admit, it's not my knife. I haven't used it very well or very much at all, and if it were, I probably still wouldn't. But you can tell it's gonna cut and slice incredibly. This is my knife, and it's a thicker blade stock, but it's ground super thin and hollow like this Rustic Gent, and it cuts amazingly. So this right here, which is a thinner blade, is just gonna be, it's gonna be crazy slicey. So just a really nice knife. Here it is next to the shredder, which I think is kind of inaccurate. I don't think of this as a shredder. I think of a cheese grater as something that shreds. This slices and incisors and cleaves and halves things. I don't see it necessarily, or slashes. I even think slasher is more accurate, but I guess they can't call a knife a slasher these days. Okay, so here it is next to the Mini CQC7, which I know everyone has, so I figured I'd show it with that. Here it is with the Benchmade bug out with micarta handles. Here it is with a mini griptilian about the same size. And here it is with a Delica, also about the same size, maybe a titch shorter in the blade and a titch longer in the handle, or is that just how it, no, that's how it is, looks like. There it is with the Leek. Great little knife, similar kind of very thin, slicey, hollow ground blade, delicate. See, if I had this, I'd drop it immediately on that tip. That's just how I roll. And then finally with the SOG Terminus XR, Knife Rights Edition. So I think this Civivi Rustic Gent, whether you get it in the G10 with the regular steel or with the Damasteel in this special handle, I mean, they're all gonna be this amazing fit and finish and build and thin blade grind here. So if you like the way it looks and you like the aesthetic and you like, I guess that's the same thing, and you like the idea of having a nice little leather pouch in your pocket and pulling this out and cutting the cheese for people at work. Cutting the cheese, there I go again. I'm just not speaking well. I think this is right up your alley, because it's definitely up mine. And I'm gonna stop right there.